Hi, welcome my lovelies. Today is day 3 of my free event, Empowered Through Pleasure. And yeah, I'll have to tell you, after 3 days of talking about empowerment and pleasure, I'm feeling pretty fucking empowered and pleasurable. I don't know about all y'all. Hi, Psychic Shasta. Hi, Passion Priestess. Hi, Magic Marta. Hi, loves. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here with you on day 3. Hi, Brenna. Welcome, love. It's so good to see you. Hi, Manchester Media. Welcome, everyone. So, I'm curious, how are you all really doing today? What's going on? Tell me how you're feeling, if you want to. You don't have to, but I really want this event to be, hi, how are you, love? I really want this event to be interactive. I really want y'all to make sure and know, hi, Brenna, how are you? Hi, Ariel Pebble, welcome. I really want you all to be able to ask me questions whenever you want. Hi, Pathless Photography. Welcome back. It's so good to see you again. Yes, you're doing good. Oh, you like my outfit? Thank you. I like having so much fun dressing up for this event every day, and I got my crown so I can be a queen among queens and kings and royalty, gods, goddesses, godexes, all of these lovely creatures who are joining me. Yes, namaste to you too, love. So, how I'm feeling today, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like vulnerable because I have been showing up on Instagram Live for 3 days in a row, and it's kind of like, wow. Never realized I realized I had so much to say, but it's like cool to just get out there and do it. Hi, Melinda. Welcome, love. Yes, queen status. We can all be queens or royal beings, and whether or not you have a crown or you just feel your spiritual crown, whatever you want to call it. So yesterday, for those of you who are here, we did a super delicious pleasure-focused breathwork session, finding pleasure within our bodies and expanding it outwards to take a vacation into pleasure. It was super yummy. If you didn't watch it, if you weren't live, the replay is on my IGTV. You can definitely check it out. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of dropping into the body and the sensations for pleasure and empowerment. And so when I was younger, I was super disconnected from my body, which sounds so weird to say because it's like we're in our bodies, but I was in my head so often. I was super disconnected from my pussy and my pleasure. I had no idea what turned me on, what I even would want to ask a partner to do to me. And I remember my first time ever having sex. I was 17 and I'd been with my boyfriend for a while, and I was like, I'm horny, we should do this thing. And I really loved him. I really wanted to connect with him, and I'd seen movies and was like, oh, sex, that's the way to really deepen the connection with a partner. And he's going to penetrate me and I'm going to feel this like ecstatic pleasure. I'm going to be moaning and coming and all of these things, and we're going to fall even more in love, and I'm so into that. And so we picked a special night, we're going to have sex. We started doing it, and I realized that I didn't feel much of anything at all when he was touching me, when he was inside me. I had a general idea that there was sensation there, of course, but, well, I shouldn't say of course, but I did, but I didn't feel any pleasure. And I was so confused. I was like, what's wrong with me? Is my pussy broken? I mean, I don't know. I'm supposed to feel this ecstatic pleasure, and I don't. I'm supposed to orgasm. I didn't. And so I started feeling like I was the only one who had this problem. And I didn't really talk about it with my friends. I was just like, oh yeah, everything was great. When secretly I was worried. I was like, what's wrong with my pussy? And for years after that, oh yeah, Passion Priestess says, can relate. Yeah, I feel like, this is one of the reasons why I want to talk about this, because it's time that the silence gets broken around these I don't want to say problems, these issues, because I feel like they're super common. And when we don't talk about them, because it's like, oh, we don't talk about sex, then what ends up happening is that the woman or the person feels like it's her fault or their fault. And they feel like they're the only one who has this problem. And so this persisted for me for years after my first time. And I kind of went back and forth between mostly blaming myself, but then I was also like, maybe it's my partners, maybe they just all don't know how to please me. And I will say that, of course, there's lovers out there that are more willing to please and more giving, and it's amazing to find those kind of lovers. But at the end of the day, this was related to myself and my lack of connection to myself. And so, yeah, I'm curious if any of you all, others can relate to this or your thoughts on it. So when I started feeling like maybe it was my partner's fault, then I started blaming them, and I started getting resentful. And after a while, I just got to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to have sex anymore, but I kept doing it anyway, because that's like what you do, you're in a relationship or you meet someone. And I mean, that's what I thought. It's like, well, what else am I going to do? And so I didn't know what the problem was. I didn't even know how to begin to go about healing it. Hi, Artful Beauty. Welcome. Talking about the importance of feeling into the body and the sensations for feeling pleasure. And so being connected to our body is super important to experience pleasure. And another thing that happened to me a lot was that I would get super in my head during sex or self-pleasure, or just going through my daily life, always thinking about the past, thinking about the future. Hi, She Took Red. Welcome, love. How are you? And so I missed so much of the pleasure and so much of the connection with my partner, with myself, with the world that I could have experienced, but I was just so worried. Hi. So worried about, how do I look in this position? Does my, stomach stick out? Or, oh, it's so good to see you too, love. I'm so glad you made it today. We're talking about pleasure some more, talking about reconnecting to the body to really feel into our pleasure. And so a person could be having the most pleasurable experience, having sex with their amazing partner, having a full body massage. And if your mind is on something else the whole time, you're not there, you're not present, and it's kind of, I don't want to say a waste of time, but you could be getting a lot more out of it. And one of the things that often took my mind off of the moment was guilt. I don't know how many of you have this experience of feeling a lot of guilt for asking for what you want, receiving what you want, saying no, saying yes, setting boundaries. For me, I used to have trouble setting boundaries in general. And even once I became better at that, there was this lingering guilt that I just would feel in my body, and it would haunt me. And it's just like, oh, I finally stuck up for myself and I said what was true to me. And now I feel like this haunting, like crippling sensation of guilt in my body. And that really takes away from enjoying the experience, whether it's during or whether it's after. And so one of the main things that my clients ask when they come to me is, how do I work with this guilt? How do I work with guilt for saying I don't want to have sex tonight to my husband, or for saying to my friend, I can't come over, I can't help you right now, I need to take care of myself. And so this could be guilt around things to do with sexuality, or it could just be about things in your daily life. And so usually when my clients come to me and tell me this, they say, how can I get rid of this guilt? I want it gone. And one of the things, hi Ashley Knight, welcome, good to see you. And one of the things that I tell them is, you've been fighting against this guilt for a long time. So a lot of times when we have this guilt, we push it down. We're like, oh, I have this guilt, but I don't want to feel this guilt, so I'm going to pretend that it's not there, and I'm going to fight against it. And you've been doing that, I tell them, maybe your whole life. And how's that working out for you? Does it work? And usually they're like, no, it's still there. And so the thing when we have this guilt is that we can't just push it away. We can disconnect from it. Instead, we need to do what seems to be a bit counterintuitive, to actually check in with that guilt, to feel that guilt, to express it, to send it love and acceptance. And I know that sounds very hard to do, but it's one of those things that once we acknowledge that part of ourselves, there's ways that we can work with it so that it no longer controls our lives. We can get more comfortable with feeling it so that we can sit with the feeling of having it. And then we can also choose to feel something else and to have a different experience, control or dominate our lives and our relationships. So guilt is basically our subconscious giving us a warning. So for example, when we're young, and we usually a lot of the time, the message that we get about pleasure is a negative one. So it's like pleasure, whether it's sexual pleasure, and we get the message that sexual pleasure is sinful, or we get the message that taking time for yourself and taking a bath and taking self-care is a waste of time. And who does that? That's self-indulgent. Don't spend time on yourself all the time. That's greedy. And so normally we either see this modeled to us, so maybe our mother or our parents have this attitude, or or someone expressly tells us this. And either way, our subconscious is taking notes on this, and our subconscious, hi Gumi, welcome love, good to see you again. So happy to see some of you all coming back. We're talking about guilt and why do we feel guilt and how to work with it. So yeah, so from a young age, it's like we see that pleasure is this dangerous thing, like, oh, don't do that. And so our subconscious, of course, it's not a logical part of our brain. It doesn't think, well, in this circumstance it was fine, but now it's not. It's just like, danger, don't do that. Welcome into bliss, good to see you, love. And so pleasure gets coded in our subconscious brain as something that's disapproved of. And disapproval to our subconscious brain equals being shunned from our community. And humans, obviously, hey love, how are you today? XXXXX to you too. And I'm just gonna drink some water, my throat is so scratchy. Oh, hey love. Hearts to you too, my dear. So yeah, we as humans, we're communal creatures. We need our community to survive, and especially back in the days when people lived in tribes and communities, this was even more so the case. So our subconscious brain is like, if you do that thing, if you masturbate, if you take time for yourself, you are going to be pushed out of your community, and you're gonna die, literally, is the way that our subconscious equates it. And so when we feel this pang of guilt, even though it's not for doing something bad, it's the same feeling that we get when we are doing something that's like, don't murder someone. That'll also get you kicked out of your community usually. So, but it's like in our mind, pleasure is associated as something bad. And so when you think about it that way, it can kind of help you to start having a bit of compassion for this part of yourself that is feeling this guilt. It's like, okay, a lot of times it's like an inner child piece of us. It's this little child piece that's like afraid. It's like, mommy said not to do that. You don't want to make mommy mad. And so when we feel that guilt and we start to feel it come up, instead of being like, oh no, I don't feel that fucking guilt, like I'm fine, it can be really helpful to just take a moment to really feel into that guilt and notice. Hi, Miriam. Welcome, love. Good to see you. So just starting to feel into that guilt and just noticing what kind of sensations are there. Because when we feel into our emotions are sensations within the body. So feeling into that guilt and really noticing what is there. What does our guilt have to say to us? And this doesn't mean that we have to do this all the time, but we do need to do it if we've never done it, to really connect with that part of ourselves and ask it, okay, what is this part of myself? Is it a young child? What age did I start getting these messages about pleasure and how it's scary and it's bad? And you can just feel that guilt and feel into that little girl or boy or person and ask it, what do you need right now? And maybe it just needs to be held. Maybe it's afraid. And so really just feeling into that guilt and just offering it what it needs. And because these messages are so deeply embedded in our subconscious brain, it's probably going to take, you can't just like do this once and then you're like, yep, no problem, I'm done. But the more that you do it, the quicker this process will be. And so I wanted to just invite you into a quick practice that you can do if it feels in resonance with you, or you can just watch and listen as well, just around trying this right now. And so if you want to participate, you can just close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. And just feeling into maybe a time when you felt guilty, or a situation that makes you feel guilty. Knowing that you're doing this just for your own learning and exploration, only feeling into it to the extent that feels comfortable and safe to you right now. Just feeling into maybe a time recently when you felt that guilt and noticing what sensations do you feel in your body. Just taking a moment to feel that. And I'm curious what it feels like to other people. To me, it's this sensation of like, it's like in my solar plexus, and it's like this almost like nausea and clenching and kind of like twisting sensation that feels like it's going from the front of my solar plexus all the way through like to my spine, and it just kind of makes me want to hunch over a little bit. It's kind of like ugh. And if someone could think like, why are we doing this? I don't want to feel that. But it's like so often we feel it anyways. And so diving into that experience and really feeling that, it's just giving attention to a part of ourselves that we so often ignore and push away. And so if you're feeling into that, I just invite you to take a couple of deep breaths here. Yeah, it does feel like similar to what I said. Yeah, and others can share in the chat if you notice something when you feel into this that you want to share as well. So just breathing into it, and the next thing that you can do when you feel guilt, after you breathe and you give it attention, is to really let it express. Because it's like, again, going back to the example of a baby or a little child, it's like a little child wants attention. And so until it gets attention, it's going to be crying out, it's going to be fussing and making noise. And once you give it what it needs, then it can relax. And so as you breathe into it, you can even begin to see if that part of yourself wants to express through movement. Maybe there's a posture that you want to associate with it that wants to happen, or maybe there's a movement, or maybe there's a sound. And so just feeling if there's sounds or any kind of expression that you want to have. Hi, Snake and Honey, welcome. Just feeling into our sensations and feeling how guilt might feel in our body. Just noticing and feeling that for a second. Hi, Valerie, welcome. And just noticing, what does guilt feel like in the body? Seeing if there's a way that you want to express that. Welcome, Jack. How are you? Taking another minute to just really... Hi, Valerie. We're just expressing guilt and shaking it out and making noise and sensation to just move it through the body. This starts to, when we have these sensations that we repress and we push down, they're basically energy that gets stagnant and it gets stuck in our body. And so it's like in there, and the more that we go and just like start breathing into it and start moving and sounding and looking fucking ridiculous, the more that we can just start to move it through. And then maybe just fucking shaking it out, letting it go however you want to. Taking a couple deep breaths. And just, closing your eyes for a second if you'd like, and just noticing, if you participated in that exercise, how does it feel now when you tap into that area? If there's something you want to share in the chat about how that was, you can. For me, it feels like there was just expansion, and it feels like the energy that was in my solar plexus, it started to kind of like move and radiate outwards and down my legs and through my body. And so just kind of was able to open it up a little bit. And so the next thing that you can do after you've given a voice to this part of yourself that you've been pushing down, like guilt, you can do this with anger or anything else. Hi, Kyle. Welcome, love. Good to see you. So when you are feeling sensations like guilt that you don't want to feel, give them a voice, give them an expression, let them move through your body like the powerful energy that they are. And then you can check in with that part of yourself again and ask it again, how are you doing? What do you need? And if it needs something else besides just to be expressed, maybe you feel like, I need love. I need a hug. Hi, Sterling Mallory Archer. Welcome. So just feeling into what it needs, really trusting with all of these things. It's good to just trust what comes to you. You don't have to analyze it or be like, oh, is that really what that is? Or is that I'm just making that up? It doesn't matter. It's all just an exploration. Hi, Madam Artemis. Welcome, my love. And so whatever comes, like let's say it needs love, then you can ask yourself, is there a part of myself that can offer it love? Maybe you can feel into a part of yourself that feels like a mother or a father or a caretaker, or maybe you can just feel within yourself pure love somewhere in your heart or wherever. And so you can really just visualize sending love and sending support and anything else that this part of you needs. Taking some breaths into that. And lastly, hi, Must Be Love Lost. Welcome. After you've taken care of this crying baby or this part of yourself that's afraid, or whatever you feel like that part of yourself was that was feeling this guilt and this danger around pleasure, then that part of yourself is okay. It's all right for now. And that doesn't mean that you may not feel anything or any guilt, but you've taken some time to give attention to that part of yourself. Then you can decide, okay, around pleasure, what do I want to feel instead of guilt? Maybe I want to feel excitement. Maybe I want to feel pride. Maybe I want to feel delicious turn on. It could be whatever. You get to choose. And so then again, finding when you feel into that turn on or that excitement, where do you feel that in your body? What part of yourself can you empower to bring more of these sensations into your life? So really feeling into that, feeling those sensations, and giving them the same attention. Breathing in, and sometimes it can even help to give a persona to this part of yourself. So maybe it's the pleasure goddess or god or pleasure being, and just really saying, I'm giving you the keys to my pleasure, and really just celebrating that, seeing what happens. It's all just a fun and exciting and playful adventure. Sometimes it's not fun, but it's beautiful. It can be intense. And so this is one of those practices that you may need to do, like I said, again and again. So if there's a situation where maybe you say a new boundary to a new person, no, I don't want to have sex with you right now, or no, I don't want you in my life at all. And when you start to feel that guilt, you can do the same process over again. So checking in with the guilt, giving it expression, feeling it, loving it, giving it what it needs, and then choosing again and again. I'm going to come back to my pleasure, goddess, God, being, and feeling that part of yourself again. So that's a process for working with guilt. And if you have any questions about that, I know it's kind of a lot, so feel free to ask me now. You can also ask me in the DMs. This is one of the things that I work with my clients on for many, many sessions. So that's just kind of an introduction to that, and working with those emotions that we sometimes find challenging. So one last thing that I wanted to mention about why it's so important to connect with our bodies. So it's important to connect with them for pleasure and being fully present for our pleasure. And it's also so important for our empowerment. So I don't know if y'all can relate to this, but when I meet someone, oftentimes I can really tell how connected they are with their body, how grounded they are, how in touch they are with their, especially the lower chakras, which are all about grounding and being here on the earth, and being in our bodies, and of course sexuality as well, versus someone who is in their mind and is in their upper chakras, which of course there's nothing wrong with that. But if you spend all your time up here, it tends to give you kind of a unbalanced, kind of an airy sense where you're always just kind of like flittering from here to here, and maybe you have all these amazing ideas and you have all these great thoughts, but as far as really bringing that down to ground into your body, it's really important to also be connected with those lower chakras, and even all the way down to the feet. And so to end today, I wanted to lead you all in a beautiful body meditation, ending with a grounding practice. And this will be just a simple one that you can do in these times in your life when maybe you are really in your head, or maybe you have something important to do, like you want to give a talk on IG Live, and you want to feel really grounded and present. So you can do this practice before times like that. So if you want to join in, you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze. And just taking a few deep breaths. And really a lot of this is about intention, more so than doing a specific thing in a specific way. So beginning with the intention of, I intend to be present in this moment. I intend to connect fully with my body. You can choose, maybe I want to connect with my first chakra, my genitals. I want to connect with all the way down to my feet and the earth. I want to choose to be here now in my body. So feeling into that intention for yourself for today, breathing it in and breathing out anything that's not necessary for you in this moment. So breathing out, maybe even letting out a sigh or sound, and beginning to connect with your body, just feeling yourself supported, maybe by the chair or by the floor, feeling your butt supported, feeling your feet on the ground, any other parts of yourself that are being supported, just sending a couple of breaths there. And now, just to feel even deeper into the body, I want to invite you into a short body scan, just to touch base with all the different parts of your body. And so as you scan your body, really paying attention to any sensations that you feel and being as specific as possible. You can say them out loud, you can say them in your mind. And as you feel them, not judging them as, oh, that's good or that's bad, just being with them. And again, holding them with love and acceptance. So taking a breath and starting with the top of your head, just noticing what's happening there in your scalp, feeling into your upper head, forehead, eyebrows, brain. Letting your attention be like a gentle light that you're shining as you move your attention down, feeling the nose, the jaw, the mouth, the neck. As you continue down the body, remembering to breathe. And if you feel in a specific spot a very intense sensation, you can send some breaths there. Maybe you even want to move a little bit from that area. Maybe you want to make a sound. So breathing into the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, feeling down through the arms all the way to the hands. Breathing as you breathe and feel your chest and / or breasts, feeling down to the solar plexus, the middle back. As you breathe, feeling how your solar plexus and your chest and your belly rise and fall. Noticing any other sensations that you feel there. Feeling into the belly, the lower back. Does it want to move? What's going on there today? Just being so curious, letting your breath kind of guide you like an investigator that's flowing and bringing attention to your body. Feeling into your butt, your pelvis, your genitals, sending breaths there. And then beginning to breathe all the way down the legs, starting with the thighs, the knees. Noticing sensations that you normally feel, sensations that you feel every day. And also if there's anything beneath the surface that you're noticing. Feeling that as you send your attention down the knees, down the lower legs, to the feet, to the toes, and sending your breath now, seeing if you can visualize sending your breath all the way down the full body to the feet, as if you're breathing all the way to your feet, feeling your feet connected to the ground, feeling your connection with the earth. If you're standing on a floor, feeling the earth beneath the floor. And as you breathe, sending your breath even a little bit below your body. So breathing down to the earth. And as you breathe in, breathing all the way down. And then as you breathe out, feeling that earth energy flowing all the way up through your entire body. Let's take a few breaths here. Just feeling that breath flow through your entire body. And then inviting that beautiful, grounding, nourishing, strong, powerful earth energy all the way up through your body. And just taking a few more deep breaths there. As you do, just staying aware of your body and knowing that now that you've connected with your body in this way, you can always reconnect anytime. So when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, coming back to the moment. And I'm so curious how that was for you. If you have any questions or anything that you noticed during that practice. I know we've covered a lot of things today, so if you have any questions about managing and healing and working with difficult emotions and guilt, reconnecting to your body for pleasure and empowerment, I would love to chat with you. As you obviously know, I love talking about these topics. And thank you, Madam Artemis. It's so lovely to see you here. And yeah, you can share in the chat. You can DM me. For those of you who are watching the replay, you can do the same. It was rejuvenating. Yes. You're so welcome. Yeah, these little practices, even if you want to be grounded and you don't want to take the time to do the entire thing, even just doing the intention piece and doing a few deep breaths can be so grounding and so empowering. So tomorrow we're going to be talking more, we're kind of going to empowerment through pleasure, as the name of the event might suggest. So tomorrow we're going to be talking more about empowerment. So yes, pleasure is fucking awesome, but how does it empower us? How can reconnecting with our pleasure and our bodies really allow us to be more empowered? And by empowered, I mean knowing what the fuck you want, feeling confident to ask for it, knowing how to take your desires and make them a reality through both inner work, which is things like meditation and sex magic and grounding practices, and also outer work, so showing up in the world, using your voice, sharing your truths, sharing what's on your mind. And also a big part of it for me is deep self-love. So how does pleasure connect us back with our self-love, with our confidence, with all of these amazing things? So I would love to see you here tomorrow to chat more about pleasure for day 4. And yes, Madam Artemis says, I had a mini energy massage session, and then I started IG and got guided in here directly, and I had an intention to be with you on this journey, and so it went. Fuck yeah. Yeah, thank you. It was so blissful grounding. You are so welcome, love. I'm so glad that you came. Hi, Ethereal Inferno. Welcome. Yeah, and with these practices, sometimes you come up with things like either questions later or kind of realizations. Things might hit you later. So if that's the case, let me know. And just please feel free to, not feel free to, but I would recommend that you do feel free to drink lots of water and just take care of yourselves today. Like, really ask yourself, what do I need? Felt that you helped me ground and clean out stuck energy with being connected by distance and energy. Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's so powerful to do these things in a group as well. Thank you, Ethereal Inferno. Yeah, we've been chatting here for a while. We were talking about how it's so important to connect to our bodies and our sensations for pleasure and empowerment. We talked about guilt and how to work with guilt and other challenging emotions. Thank you, Sterling Mallory Archer. My voice is so soothing. Yeah, thank you. So if you joined a little bit later, I'm going to be posting the replay so you can go back and soak up all the juicy pleasure. Hi, Florence, Jean, Valerie, Monique, welcome. And or if you just want to bask in some more pleasure, I don't blame you. You can check out the replay. One other thing that I'll mention, for those of you with pussies, this is specifically for you. I have a sensual pussy breathwork practice that is on my link tree on my bio. So if you go to my link in bio and you click on that, you can join my email list and it'll be sent to you. And it's a super beautiful practice for reconnecting with your pussy and your body and your sexuality and your power. So you can feel free to download that as well. And yeah, let me know if anything else comes up for you. And we'll meet back here tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Pacific time for round 4. Woo! All right, loves. Well, it's been beautiful spending time with you. And have a great day. So much love.